Building a new life, brick by brick. Welcome to the Hopefulist with me, Wendy McClure. This is where we turn those nasty, negative thoughts into positive and work toward a happy, fulfilled life. Now, let's get started. Welcome to the Hopefulist. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy that you are here. We're going to start out with the quote of the day here on this second week of January. And this is for all of you people who swear you will not make resolutions. I will not do it. I'm not going to set myself up for failure. Also, people who do not make goals for themselves to strive to do better, to grow stronger. Listen up. All of nature is forever moving, growing, changing, reproducing, evolving. Likewise, you are not meant to just survive, to stay stagnant, to settle. You are meant to keep growing and thrive. Just like the tree that sucks up the nutrients, water, and sun, grows to its tallest, mightiest height, and drops crap all over our yards, that will then spawn the next generation of trees. And the frog that miraculously grows from egg to tadpole to adult, you too are meant to reach your fullest expression of the you that is you, to inspire and birth awesomeness in others, and to use whatever resources you need along the way. So take your share. You're entitled to them. You're allowed. They're yours. They're here for the taking. So we all should be setting some goals. We should be looking forward. We should be trying to grow and to be better, to live a better life, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. So when you say that you don't do resolutions, I get it. I said it for years. I don't do resolutions. It's just making it harder for me to start the year. Then I realized we're supposed to do things that are harder. We're supposed to get better. We're supposed to conquer. That's right. Conquer. Be the tree that grows every year, spawns new leaves every year, and then drops their leaves to spawn new growth for other things. You following me here? And then the tree soaks up more nutrients and more things that will help it grow once again after a nice long sleep. Winter is its nice long sleep. And sometimes that's what we need too. We need a nice long sleep. And sometimes we just need a kick in the pants. So, if you are one of those who has set some new goals for this year, has made some resolutions, and here we are in week 2, and you're already feeling a little down, you're already like, well, this first week didn't go as exactly as I had hoped it would. Don't fear. It's not time to throw in the towel just yet. I did just finish reading Will Smith's latest autobiography. Now, in the book, he talks about how his father made him and his brother build a wall in their house when they were just kids. I think they were like 9 and 10. It took the two of them a year to get it done. He said that probably an official contractor would have taken them like a week, maybe a couple of days. Took them a year. Now, when Will would get exasperated about how little progress they were making, his father told him he needed to stop focusing on the entire wall. He had to concentrate on one brick. Lay one brick, then the next, and the next. We've all heard stories like this before about taking one step at a time. But the cool part of this tale is once the wall was finally finished, Will's father told him and his brother, now you both know you can do anything. You can do anything, even if it takes a year. And that is the message I would like to bring to you today. As mentioned, it is the time of year we try to make major changes in our life. We get up on January 1st and try to change our entire lives. And then inevitably we have a hard time. Give up a little bit here, a little bit there before we throw in the towel altogether because you know what? It's just too damn hard. We know this is what happens every year, yet we continue with the same cycle year after year without making any real change, right? It's how I've lived my life for most of my years, trying to make huge changes at once, not just one huge change at a time, many changes. And yes, I failed over and over again. Because we know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting a different result. The thing that comes foremost to my mind, of course, is my health and diet plan. I would constantly do the same things repeatedly, and the end result was always the same. My giving in and usually eating everything I could get my hands on. Oh, my mantra for years, if I could just lose 10 pounds, just a quick 10 pounds, not 10 pounds, a quick 10 pounds. If I could just lose a quick 10 pounds, that'll give me the momentum I need. Okay, there's no such thing as a quick 10 pounds. Best case scenario, that's a month. I've never even been able to lose 10 pounds in a month, to be honest with you. Not since I was, very young. But over the years, you learn and get better, right? Well, hopefully. We've had snow twice this week. This is an example I go back to often. Now, when I was a kid, we were those people who ran to the store before an impending storm to stock up. No, not on milk, eggs, and bread. It was chips, ice cream, donuts, and anything else we didn't normally eat. It was a literal food fest every time there was a snowstorm. I'm not sure why it was like that, but it's what we did for every single storm. For many years, whenever I saw snow in the forecast, I would want to run to the store and get all the junk. I always deny myself, and for a while I did. But there came a day when finally I said, no more. I'm not doing this anymore. I probably still rummaged around my house and ate too much, but it wasn't as bad. At least I didn't have a counter stocked full of junk food. I made small changes throughout many years. And when we had 2 snowstorms this week, it didn't even occur to me to go to the store, to go get junk food. It's something I drilled right out of my brain. But it took a long time. There were many snowstorms that I sat around just wanting to eat through the whole thing. But small changes over time made a big difference. And now I don't even think about running to the store. I know I have what I already need. But this didn't happen overnight. In fact, it was so gradual, I'm not even sure when it stopped being such a compulsion that I finally hammered it out of me. This is how we need to approach all changes in our life. Start small with one brick at a time. Yes, the results will likely be slower. But isn't it better to have slow results than fast failures? And I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 50s. I'm in my 60s. I don't have time for years. Yes, you do. It's still better to make slow progress than to make no progress whatsoever. Stop thinking that you are running out of time. Because if you're going to think that way, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. I worked with a nutritionist last fall with the goal of not putting on a bunch of weight over the fall and the holiday season, as that is my pattern. I don't typically put on a few pounds. It's usually like 10 or 15. Yeah, I know. It's a lot. So my goal this year was to maintain. Worked really hard to keep the mentality that I needed to show restraint at the holidays. It was okay to indulge, but not overindulge. Then there were days that I knew I was going to have everything that I wanted. And that was okay, as long as those days were spaced out with healthy eating in between. I'm ecstatic to say I only put on 2 pounds, which is enormous for me. I'm so happy and proud. I have ingrained in my brain so much to maintain that I even forgot this is the time of year when I usually try to lose weight. And I will try to get a few pounds off. But the most important thing to me is to not put any weight on. Sure, I would love to be a little thinner. And, I'm going to work on that. But what's most important to me is not putting on weight. It's become my new normal. And no, again, I did not get here overnight. I do remember about 2 summers ago, I was complaining to some girlfriends about how much I weighed. Oh, I weigh so much. I've never weighed this much before. I can't stand it. And I remember one of my friends saying, remember we talk about, these were friends from high school, we talk about how we look back at these pictures of us standing around in our bikinis thinking how fat we were back then. One day you will wish that you were this thin. And I'm like, oh gosh, I hope not. Well, yeah, that is a great mentality. We can always get bigger. We can always get more unhealthy. So staying where I am right now, not optimal, but certainly better than the alternative of gaining even more weight. Right? As my former pessimistic self, I would start every new year gung-ho to make all of these changes and then start falling off track within a week or two. Then I would shame myself and say terrible things about myself. You're such a loser. What made you think you could do this? Of course you can't do this. You've never been able to stick to a healthy eating plan. You've never kept up with working out. What made you think you could do it now? You'll never do it. How helpful does this sound to you? Not very, right? Yet you likely do it to yourself too. We are so hard on ourselves. We set ourselves up with impossible expectations and bash ourselves when we fall short. It's not a good way to live, especially if you want to be happy. Let's put the goals aside. Just talk about happiness. Never going to be happy bashing yourself, calling yourself names. I certainly haven't figured everything out and likely never will, but I have learned to not take on too much at once. It's literally setting yourself up for failure and then self-loathing. And that, my friend, never helps anyone. So what is it you want most right now? What is your top priority? What is the one thing you want to work on most? Decide on that and figure out the small steps that will take you in that direction. Again, don't try to do it all in one day or 1 week or even 1 month. Slow and steady wins the race. Brick by brick. Section by section. That is how you build the life of your dreams. If you could use some guidance on making a plan for your specific goal, I offer deep dive calls to help you figure out a plan for moving forward or to help you figure out what that one specific goal should be. Or if you could use a bigger overhaul, then consider personal positivity training, where we work on changing your mindset and actions week by week, adding things slowly. If you'd like some more information, visit my website at hopefulist.com/training. If you like this episode, please be a dear and tell your friends. Share it on social media. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe or follow button, please do and leave me a review. That will really make my day. Now go forth and be badass. You know I'm here cheering you on. Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist. Now, don't you feel good? Make sure you come back next week. See you then.